Hey, we're back after 2 weeks off because of a little computer snafu in terms of internet, and we've got better internet than ever now. So I'm feeling very confident you're going to enjoy episode 289 of Fine Music with our leadoff man back, Fred Whitlock. Take it away, Fred.
This week, I'm going to talk about a group that maybe gets overlooked for their great albums and what they've added to rock and blues history. Canned Heat.
Ooh.
The group with Al Wilson, the Owl on guitar and harmonica, Bob the Bear Height on vocals, Henry Vestine, Sunflower on lead guitar, Larry the Mole Taylor on bass, and Adolfo Frito de Parra on drums. Their first album was just Canned Heat, came out in '67, and it was a traditional blues album with rolling and tumbling on it, Dust My Broom, and it featured some Muddy Waters songs and some other blues artists. And it didn't break big, but it's an interesting blues album, blues rock album. But in their next album, Boogie with Canned Heat, featured On the Road Again, Amphetamine Annie with the Speed Kills slogan in it, World in a Jug, and Refried Boogie, which became a big standard of theirs. In '68, Living the Blues came out and had some Going Up to the Country and Pony Blues. Then it has a 19 minutes song on it. I hope I can pronounce this right. Paratheria Genesis. And it just a psychedelic blues rock number that rolls on. And when it came out on vinyl, Refried Boogie took up parts 1 and 2 on one album. And the whole band got to out and do their thing on the over a boogie sounding background on part 2. The guitar Henry Vestine comes out with some great rock guitar playing. In fact, he was named on a list of rock and roll guitarists in Rolling Stone as a great rock and roll guitarist. And he really shines, he just wails on that. When it got reissued on CD, there's like 9 other bonuses you can find. In '69 came out the album Hallelujah. And it's one of the classic albums.
Oh, Fred, you disappeared. Whoopsie. That episode was going fairly well. I was willing to keep it. Oh. Shall we do a take 3?
Oh, here it comes.
Or keep it going. Maybe keep it going.
Maybe keep it going.
Okay.
You're back.
We're gonna keep it going. Keep it going.
I
Just
think
pick
I'm
up
having
from
trouble with my internet.
pick up from 1969. We're gonna be okay.
So 1969, Hallelujah came out, and it's the last album with the whole classic lineup. Henry Vestine wasn't getting along with the bass player, and he finally left for a while after this album was recorded. And it's got Sick 'em Pigs, Down in the Gutter, but I'm Free, and some other great songs on it. And it's a classic Canned Heat album, which has other great songs like Poor Moon with Al Wilson. And I feel that between the Bears' lead vocals and Al Wilson's vocals, just balances every album they do together. In 70 came out a couple of older cuts. Vintage, in 1970, Vintage came out. It's demos from an early sessions before their first album came out, and Love to Panther Canyon. You can find it on Spotify. I wouldn't recommend it to go out and buy them. They're okay, but if you're a diehard Canned Heat fan, you would want those in your collection. 70 came out Future Blues, and their great hit of the Wilbert Harrison song, Let's Work Together. And So Sad the World's in Danger is an Al Wilson song. He plays great harp on it, and there's great rock songs on this album. Harvey Mandel took over lead guitar on this album, so he plays some great solos on this. And then in 71, they bring their hero in, John Lee Hooker, and come out with a 2-album set, Hooker in the Heat. And it's the last album that features Alan Wilson with the group. He died shortly after this was recorded. He plays, there's some cuts on the first side where it's just John Lee Hooker, and then occasionally Al Wilson on piano or harmonica or guitar. And then on the second album, the group backs them up, and they play wonderfully with this. They don't overshadow Hooker. Hooker is definitely in the spotlight with his boogie sound. And of course, this is the man that inspired Canned Heat to do boogie. So they're just at home with, and there's great Hooker compositions. And this is one of the first John Lee Hooker albums to hit the top 100 albums on the Billboard charts. And he also, Hooker in an interview said Alan Wilson was one of his most favorite harmonica players. In 71, they come out with an album called History and Eight Heads. And they got another guitarist in here, Joe Scott Hill. It still hangs in there with their sound, and it's a more rocking roll album. It features Little Richard on a cut, and they really take off on the album. And New Age out in 73, and this features another guitarist that steps in, James.
Your audio is degrading, sir.
And guitarist.
Yeah. Yeah, it was degrading. I don't mean it that way. Oh man. To continue or not to continue? Soon to be answered. Yeah. One less college try. 73 they left off on.
Vestine comes back on this album for a couple of cuts. It's more like the direction they're going in is more rock oriented, but there's a couple of gospel type sounds on it. And Clara Ward is on vocals on one of the cuts, and it's the last recording she made in her lifetime. It's an outstanding cut. It's worth the album. My last favorite album of Canned Heat came out in 94. And it's One More River to Cross. It's recorded on Atlantic Records, and it's down in Muscle Shoals, produced by Barry Beckett. And the Memphis Horns is on this. They have Roger Hawkins on a few cuts playing drums. And it's more soulful and bare Bob had most of the lead vocals, and it's their last strongest album that I really enjoyed. But I say check Can Heat. Spotify, you can find all their albums. You can look up the best of Can Heat or on Spotify and find out that a lot of live cuts are on there at the Monterey Jazz Festival and other festivals. And you can see just how important this band was to rock history.
Well, thank you, Fred. I'm going to use some AI to try to reconstruct your voice and image, just like John Lennon. You know, it was a choppy episode, but I think we got a whole lot of information there, right?
Yeah.
Up to 1994, that album sounds like a great place to start, and of course the early albums. So let's leave it up to the adventurers.
Yeah, you like long jams, so you should check out Living the Blues.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I will. You know I will.
The boogie cut that goes on forever.
Yeah. You're the guy that turned me on to Harvey Mandel, and I have not regretted that one. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Fred.